But what is really bleaching?
Well, bleaching simply means any product you use that lightens your skin. I saw a woman, in fact, I can't describe her skin. Was she black? Was she fair?
Was she green?
Was she green?
Orange.
I didn't know which one she was.
The skin has to keep renewing itself. And what is the basis of that renewal? What you do with the skin.
So all this skincare routine that you have to use like 5-6 things, the cleanser, the toner, the wiper, the concealer, all at the same time. So that's disturbing your skin too much.
I have seen men who bleach. I've seen men who have come to the clinic. They've looked at my skin and said, I want my skin to be like yours. And I'm like, you have to. My mom has to give birth to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be in the midst of some of the finest dermatologists and medical experts alongside Dr. Ehiaghe, and we'll be anchoring this session today. This conversation is not to shame or to bring down anyone who's already in the act of bleaching, but just to educate and show that we have healthier ways to take care of our skin, right?
That is right. So I'm just going to echo what Temisa has said now. Yeah. We are not shaming. We're not blaming. We just want to, hear your thoughts and maybe find out one or two things about why people are doing certain things that they're doing to their skin. So please feel free. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, let's move into it. So for this first session, we have two panelists, right? They're also experts in their own right. And I'm going to call them up now quickly. The first panelist that we have here is a leading voice in dermatology in Nigeria, Professor Altraide.
Altraide.
I apologize. No, sir, let me know. Let me do the... You have to go back. Let me correct myself.
No, but Temisa, I think that's okay. Altraide is a very nice way of saying it.
I heard it's from Port Harcourt. I've visited a Port Harcourt name.
Why not now?
I apologize, sir. Yeah, so please say Altraide Daseltima.
Daseltima.
Yeah, is a consultant dermatologist at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, a professor of dermatology at the University of Port Harcourt, and the current president of the National Association of Dermatology. Please, a round of applause for him.
Yes, for the brains behind it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Introduce the next
and then
person.
I'll call on the second panelist in the person of Dr. Ehiaghe Anaba. She's a beautiful lady, a consultant dermatologist at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, as well as an associate professor at the Lagos State University. And she's the chairman of this Nigerian Association of Dermatology Anti-Skin Bleaching Campaign Committee. So please, a round of applause for you, ma'am. You're welcome.
So the first question from me is...
Do you want to?
Yeah. What is, to a layman, to a market woman, to a bus driver, to anybody who cares to know, what is bleaching? What would you define as bleaching? Some people say, I'm not bleaching, I'm toning. I'm just working on my skin. But what is really bleaching?
Well, bleaching simply means any product you use that lightens your skin, that invariably reduces the concentration of melanin. Now, we've discovered that in saying bleaching, there are so many other words that is being used. Now, toning is one of them, brightening is one of them, lightening your skin is one of them, maintaining the color that God gave me. In fact, that's the most important. Everybody says, I want to maintain the color. I'm a fair person. I usually tell them, say, yes, I know you are fair. And I need these creams to maintain my body the way God created me. And I tell them, well, the white people don't maintain their body with these creams the way God created them. That God that created you had made efforts to maintain your skin without using this.
Okay, thank you. So I hear you say melanin. So my role here, I know they've introduced me as a doctor. So don't look at me as a dermatologist. Look at me as maybe the ordinary doctor who maybe doesn't really get the dermatologist. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit so that if, they said he's a professor and this one is associate professor, they might be speaking very big. So let's try and bring it down. You understand, right?
No,
So you said
melanin.
melanin. Hold on. I'm just thinking, I want to tell everybody, when they say melanin, it's the color of the skin. What gives us that our skin tone, whether it is light brown or dark brown, and it can bring bigger languages. So what he's just trying to say is that when people say that they are bleaching, or rather what they don't want to agree to that they are bleaching, if anything is kind of reducing the ability of that melanin to do its work, it is bleaching. So whatever name you want to call it, fair, brightening, maintaining, glowing,
Popping.
brightening, popping, all of them are euphemisms. Euphemism is a nicer way of saying a bad word, or a not too good word, of bleaching. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. This is why we added you as a co-host, for more enlightenment. I've learned something today. So, doctor, why do you think skin bleaching, even at this time in 2026, is still regarded as skincare as opposed to a health concern?
Okay, so most individuals, when you're bleaching, you are not dying. You are not sick. So they don't really see what is going on. All they see is that my skin looks nicer. And I can tell you for free that even I, a dermatologist, when you start your bleaching, I will admire your skin. It looks nice. Yeah. But I know that your journey, where it's taking you to. So I admire your skin, but I know that you are ending up somewhere that it's not good for you. So to the average person, they don't see, I rub this cream, it's not to make me look ill, I'm not feeling anything. So they do not see it as a problem. They see it as skincare. And then all of us are clapping for them. You're on TV, you're on the billboard, you're everywhere, and you are the A-list person. So they see it as skincare. But it takes the doctor to know that it's not just your skin you are affecting other things. And that's when healthcare comes into it.
Thank you so much. I'm going to answer that before she continues, right? But what are the most popular, most common complications from short-term or long-term bleaching?
So let's start from the skin itself, since it's the skin that we're first of all applying the thing. First, you make the skin very thin. And that creates a problem for me because I can't stitch your skin. I'm trying to put your skin together. We did a surgery for you. To put that skin together, it's a problem. Your skin is tearing. And then to heal, you will take longer to heal than other people. So that's a problem on its own. And when you're doing that bleaching, you're removing your melanin. Melanin was given to you to protect you from the sun. Yes, we are black, but the sun ages us. So you look older than your contemporaries. And then it gives you all kinds of diseases and makes some skin diseases even worse. So that's the skin. And then you end up having all kinds of colors and all kinds of other things on your skin but you are sitting in front of me and I'm made to smile and be nice. Meanwhile, I'm seeing so many things. And then bizarre infections. Remember, you're stripping the skin of its protective ability. Especially you have this kind of fungal infections we find difficult to recognize, difficult to treat. And then you're arguing, okay? So that's this. And then stretch marks. These kind of stretch marks that look like gutters. You can't really do much about them. Okay? So that is the skin. Then the things you are applying, it's not just the skin. Your blood vessels will take them and goes inside your body. So we're discussing diabetes. We're discussing hypertension. We're discussing kidney damage. And then sometimes, I forgot one part, the skin itself reacts to what you are rubbing. So you have an adverse drug reaction. And it's not just rubbing. Glutathione injection, let's speak the truth. So glutathione injections, you can have an adverse skin reaction. So your skin breaks out in rashes. So they are injecting glutathione, vitamin C, manufacturing all kinds of things. They come to me and I'm having to read, what did you say you are rubbing? Let me read it up and know what it is. Unnecessary education for me. So this is something we all have to be factual about.
So that's that terminology of black don't crack is actually now a lie. You know?
No, that's the case of the rich.
No.
The
Yeah,
rich will also
cracking
cry.
is
So
cracking.
you
So
have
that's
to
the
cry.
point.
That skin is crying.
Yeah, so the point is, what advantage we would have had as black people, we sort of lose.
We are losing it.
So that term, black don't crack, now becomes true crack.
Yeah.
You cracked it.
You cracked it. You
Cracked
did.
it.
You cracked it. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Anaba. So to Prof, as the president of the Nigerian Association of Dermatologists, what do you think? All this work that we have been doing from NAD's work, what patterns are you seeing nationally? Do you think bleaching is increasing? Is it evolving? Or is it becoming more discreet? You know how people, sometimes when they hear the story, these people have been saying this thing. Should we now be hiding more? What are you finding out? What is your team?
I think it's increasing. No, it's not discreet again.
They're not
It's
discreet about it.
Everybody bleaches and refuses.
Everybody bleaches.
and
If you are
refu-
bleaching, raise your hand.
And refuses to accept.
I was pointing.
You know, the funny thing is that they bleach, but they refuse to accept that they bleach. So we still have a lot of work. In fact, sometimes in the clinic, don't get angry. They get angry that you are telling them they are bleaching. You still need to try to convince them. Now, for me, what's the easiest sign I use is looking at your knuckles and your fingers. If everybody brings out his knuckle and fingers now, we can guess those that bleach and those. Let me see your own.
But Doc, you know, I have to be honest with you. I tried bleaching when I was in Unilag.
Please clap for him.
Please, I've said my truth to you guys. It was so hard for me to come out clean, right? But God stopped me in my track because, you know what they say, this person they bleach, you can't burn. I burned because I was under the sun using the cream and, you know, I just realized that this was not the way to go. And it took me some time to backtrack and, you know, repair my skin. Which brings me to this question, right? Is much of bleaching rooted in colorism and, you know, society, like what the Nigerian standard of beauty is and the pressure to conform to that? Because to be fair, the only reason why a young boy in Unilag would try to bleach is because it was the popular thing to do at the time. So some people, you don't even blame them. They are beautiful, but they don't feel like they are beautiful because of what society is saying about their color.
You know, the colorism, the little psychological side effects of bleaching is, first of all, most times at the end of the day, if you really bleach for a long time, it sort of reduces your self-esteem. It does. It does. Because, like she said, when you start seeing those threat marks, those dangerous fungal infections that you are not sure, unless you have the eye for it, you know, you won't be able to know they are fungal infections. Then there's what they call body dysmorphism. It gives them that. You know, they want to be what they are not. So it's not just us trying to talk to them. Some of them will need psychological advice.
Very
then
good.
the most important one is the societal feeling that light, fair people are more beautiful. They have more social.
Because some men be wanting pupa.
Omo pupa.
Omo pupa, like this.
Omo pupa.
Yes, now.
Emife.
And the whole of Lagos Island is crowded with, sorry to the women at Lagos Island, with pupa aunties, you know, when they come for Owambes, the makeup is heavy, and that's a spec. So what would you say to those people who already feel like, you know, they're above the average dark-skinned person?
You still try to talk to them. The best thing is if they come to you and you show them the side effects. Some of them immediately agree that they will stop. This last week, I saw a woman, in fact, I can't describe her skin. Was she black? Was she fair?
Was she green?
Was she green?
Orange.
I didn't know which one she was. But all I knew that she was bleaching, itching away. And immediately I told her, she agreed. But I knew that, like Anaba said, it was a lost cause.
So
It's going to take a lot of energy to bring that skin back to normal.
Let me take you on something you said when Temisa asked you that, because he gave that information about what he was doing. And then you said, well, some people are doing it and maybe because they think that's the kind of acceptability. And maybe if you talk to them, they won't know. Do you know that there are those who, when you even tell them exactly what it is they're doing, they will be bold and look you in the face and say, this is exactly what it is I want. Is it your bleaching?
It's true.
Is it your body? No, so the point I'm just trying to find out, so maybe the audience can even help us out. We tend to say, oh, bleaching is not good, bleaching is not good. And they know why they want to bleach. So they are not in doubt why they are bleaching. And if they are getting the public acceptance, why are you asking them to stop bleaching? I'm now playing devil's advocate.
So we're asking them to stop bleaching because it's not just the skin that they are affecting. So they will come back to you with the other things that have nothing to do with the skin. Imagine you have kidney failure. Who's going to give you their kidney? And first of all, the people who want to do the surgery to give you kidney, how are they going to put your skin together?
They tell you that's a long time away.
Yes, it's true. Yes.
But you know that also this family also reinforces this, right? When you have a whole line of women that you come from and everybody bleach from your great grandma, you think that all of you are light skinned until you get to your turn and you're like, she not let me know yellow for this house.
No, it's not even just that.
What did I do?
No, you can. No. I've had patients, young children. Father is light complexioned, mother is not. The young girl is dark, and the mother thinks you need to have your father's complexion, and they are bleaching the child. So it does happen. Acceptability. That is why we are having this campaign. We need, as a society, to say, stay with your skin shade. You can be acceptable whatever shade of skin you have.
We need to be able to accept ourselves as we are, that we are beautiful in our skins. So, guys, say no to skin bleaching. If you've done it before, it's fine. We forgive you. That's it. But going forward,
go and sin no more.
Sin no more. Yeah. If someone wants a healthy skin, right? A glowing skin without bleaching, because you know there are some people who shine brighter than the sun. You know, there's some people you say like, is this money on your skin? You know, you're wondering what they're using, right? How do we achieve that without going the bleaching route? I'm looking at your skins, I'm like, they know something that I don't know. You know, how do we get to a point where there's melanin there, the skin is shining, but you can tell that this is the full-come skin. It's just...
Yeah, like butter, chocolate black.
Yes.
Yes.
But the skin is looking
Instead
nice.
of butter, we can have chocolate spread.
No.
Well, I prefer butter,
Nutella.
but chocolate spread too, yeah.
So,
Well, most people talk about using moisturizers and sunscreen. You know, both moisturizing soap and moisturizing cream and sunscreen. That will make you glow without giving any of the side effects that bleaching will give you. Now, that simply means you are maintaining your color. That's the important thing. You are maintaining your color. And that's the point. Because the important thing is for you not to destroy what God has created that helps you. That's the important thing. The melanin is not like your appendix that has no function. The melanin has its function.
yes.
And once you remove it, who will perform the function? It's important you know that.
God will help them.
So can I just emphasize what Temisa is asking now? You, the natural fair-skinned person who is probably eating healthy, is going to glow healthier, better than the natural fair-skinned person who is not eating healthy. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I was going to say,
Exactly.
your skin comes from inside.
Yeah,
That's the
it
point.
does.
That's the truth. Your skin comes from inside. The skin has to keep renewing itself. And what is the basis of that renewal? What you do with the skin.
How do you
Now, we
take
say
care of
we are professors, so we're not going to speak English too much.
No,
so
speak it, I'll translate.
No, I'm going to talk about reactive oxygen species. Under normal circumstances, your air, your food that you're eating, everything that you're doing creates some other chemicals in your body. So those chemicals, there are things that get rid of them. Your fruits, your vegetables. So
Healthy.
those help with getting rid of those chemicals and the skin is good. Then you need to have enough water. You must have at least 3 liters of fluid on a daily basis. So the 3 liters of fluid has to do with your tea, all the drinks, your water. So 3 liters of fluid. So the skin itself
flush
is
it,
well
yeah.
moisturized from inside. And then adequate sleep.
Which you can't get to.
Leave Lagos. Adequate sleep. So adequate sleep. Alcohol, smoking, they damage your skin. So if we are discussing how to have a good glowing skin, so avoid those two. Then we can talk about the things you put on top, which Prof was talking about. Moisturize from up, sun avoidance. This sun, it is not good for us. Despite the fact that we are black, it is not. Avoid the sun and use sunscreen. So you moisturize from in and outside, and your skin looks very good.
So, thank you very much. Can we
The
just...
sun has already given us
giving you-
half mark.
Now, is there any place for the use of fruits as topical applicant
to apply on the skin or to eat?
to apply on the skin?
No.
No, all those
I
papaya
wanted you to
business and
mention
your
that.
carrot
Yes.
business, please not on the
Because
skin.
that's
Just go and buy
something-
them and
You
eat
say
them.
supplement.
No,
No, we're
not
talking about
also
the
is
ones you're
common.
applying on the skin.
No, on papaya and all the rest.
So let me break it down to the audience. If you have a product, I'm not speaking as me, I'm speaking as them. If you have a product that has a fruit on it,
Don't
papaya, carrot, kaka something, coco, whatever, do not use this. Go and eat the fruit instead. That's what they are saying. Does that make
So
some
the
sense?
extract from the fruit.
In fact,
doesn't
the word extract on a body cream or soap is a problem.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're teaching.
Yes, you guys are teaching. Yeah.
So that's the point. It's better to have the foods that you want, just like Dr. Anaba has said. We're looking for things that give you free radical busting effects. Those pollutants, there's so many in the environment. So when you eat those things in their healthiest state, not overly cooked, not overly microwaved, not overly warmed, as fresh as possible, you get those things that you are trying to apply from the outside. So it means that you're doing 2 things. You are eating well from the inside, then you moisturize, like he said, from the outside, and use UV protect. I think we need to clarify.
Yeah, when you say sun, it's the UV rays, please.
Yes.
UV rays.
Because the sun has its benefits,
It has its
so all of
benefits,
those
yes.
things.
Okay.
So let's do a rapid.
Thank you. We're about to wrap up this session, but we have a rapid fire statement. So basically, it's myth or fact. So you're going to tell us if it's a myth or it's a fact. She's going to start with the first one.
So are they going to answer me?
Yes, of course.
They will answer.
Yes.
They need to. There's a class going on. Temisa, please control your class.
You people, you look like you're bleaching already. This one should be making noise. If you know you're not, if you know you're bleaching, continue talking.
If you're not bleaching or you want to stop from bleaching, you know how to
Pay
do altar
attention.
call.
Yeah. No, I know that nobody here bleaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they're confident enough
So-
to walk into the room.
It's a rapid fire session. Everybody answer. I think audience, very good. Bleaching is safe if done gradually. Yes or no?
No.
Are you in the audience?
Oh,
No, but it's for them actually, but not the audience. Yeah.
It's for them.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So bleaching is safe if done gradually.
Nope.
no.
Natural or organic products cannot cause any harm.
Definitely, they do cause
They do.
harm. These are organic products.
They
Organic products that are lightening you,
okay,
they cause
so-
harm.
They do.
For the
Because
sake
you know,
of-
if you know what is in the organic product,
Okay. Yes. What is an organic? So
Very
when
good.
people say it's 100% organic, what does that mean?
So organic is meant to be natural.
Yeah.
And the organic that we know is shea butter, coconut oil. But these days, organic has turned into something else. Shea butter and coconut oil, they don't
They
mix.
mix organic now. You're
Yeah,
surprised,
but now everybody is
There you go.
organicing and organicing
But the
something.
organic-
But the organic
the
has turned
organic
into what we don't
neither
know.
shea butter or coconut oil.
And they
Just-
don't tell you what is in there.
Yeah.
They just say it's organic. But you are using it and you are seeing your complexion is changing. So it's no longer, we have left organic.
Huh.
So yes, organic, The way
They're
we know it
harmful.
now is harmful.
Yeah.
Okay. So the third one, doctors can always reverse the damage done.
Mba.
No,
Igbo people go say mba.
Sorry, sir. Say that again.
Mba.
no.
So you can't heal, like, after long years of bleaching.
So if you have those stretch marks that I said, it will be difficult to help you.
Yes.
Okay? If the skin is already thinned out, how are you going to rebuild your skin?
Because it took me a long time to come back from that bleach, Like, it took me years of lasers, chemical peels, to be able to see, because I had a lot of hyperpigmentation, right? And it was from the bleaching,
Yeah.
So it took me years, even if I naked and some panus, but God has helped me, So I imagine people who have been doing it for years, right? To repair the skin is going to be hard.
There are a lot of things that I won't be able to do. When they talk about exogenous onchronosis, how do you want to get rid of that? Because that's
Please,
really
for laymen,
deep.
what does that mean?
So when you have this, you've bleached and you have these color patches.
Yes.
Some of those color patches, they actually colored your collagen. So how do you want to get rid of that? Because collagen is quite deep.
You remove your collagen now.
You can't remove your collagen. If you remove your collagen, your skin has fallen flat.
So basically, you can't.
How often do people come to you to, just try to fix the damage? They're asking you to fix the damage that is caused by products that they believed were safe. How often do you see this?
Not often. They come for other medical things. And that's when you now tell them something else is happening to you that is resulting in these medical things. So if we talk about how often they come for those other medical things like fungal infections, or they are now having their dark patches, that's quite frequent. There's no clinic where we run that you won't see somebody who is coming because of that. Then you now need to tell them, actually, it's that cream that you are rubbing that has led to this. And you now show them the other things that are happening.
Amazing. Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. We're about to wrap up this session. I'm going to throw it to the audience. If you guys have any questions, I can pick two people to ask questions. Does anyone have a question? Everybody's a professional here, so
Is it?
you are the ones teaching us. Okay.
No, there's some.
Are there questions in the audience?
Somebody.
Okay, so thank you very much. This is very educating. So I just want to gain better understanding and knowledge. Right. So I had a case of a young lady who had birthmark. I don't know what you call them as dermatologists. Practically half of her face is kind of dark, and it's birthmark. So she had tried a lot of other things that caused her to be bleaching. She did a lot of things to try to get rid of that mark. Funny enough, while coming here today, I saw someone also passing, and I saw that half thing. So what do you advise to such young people? There are a lot of young people who has that, and they are probably trying to get rid of it or get advice. Please, what do you advise for such people?
I would advise that person sees a dermatologist, and they can make an appropriate diagnosis and do the right thing for the person. And I'm sure that your friend, that dark patch has not gone anywhere, because it's a different disease altogether. And bleaching it is not going to do anything.
Can we laser it?
Yes.
I believe in laser so much. I don't know why.
No, so I think
And
we
so
should
do I.
qualify. We should qualify, Dr. Anaba. I think we need to qualify that, because he asked a question. He said, "Can we laser it?" And you said yes, but you're not too sure what the problem is. So somebody tells you something. This is his perception of
Well,
it.
the first
It's
answer
important
she
to
gave.
come
Birthmark.
first. No, we think it's
So,
a
but
navel.
he needs to call, that
That
person
is
needs
the
to
point.
see the
So we need to
dermatologist.
see, the person needs to see the specialist first of all, because making the diagnosis is at least the very important part towards trying to manage the session. So while he's saying we can laser, yes, that will be correct if the diagnosis of nevus is the correct thing. So that's the point. We have another question.
What is this body doing to reach the people there, down there, this campaign? What medium are they putting together to reach those that doesn't have phones, or because they don't have phone, but they can still get all these nonsense creams? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've done market campaigns, and thank you for your question. You can join us tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We are departing from here to trade
You're so
fair.
passionate about it.
Yes, we are going to trade fair to have that campaign. And really, over the years, we've gone to schools. We've gone to the markets. So that's reaching out to people. We've been on TV. We've been on radio. And it's Should I say it's a continuous work, and we'll continue to do it. One day, somebody is going to hear and will tell the next person. The child is telling the mother or the father, and the father is telling the child. So one day, all of us will hear it and maybe sing the same song of no to skin bleaching.
Okay, apart from what she has said, NAS monthly does what we call a webinar, in which people talk about different situations. So we'll also invite you to join us every last Thursday of the month through Zoom, YouTube, and which other one? Instagram. Yes. But just like she said, we always do it in Port Harcourt. Last year, World Skin Day, we spent it in a secondary school trying to tell them. Mainly, the main problem that you need to talk about mainly is the bleaching problem. And we need people like you to help us spread the message.
Lisa, you're on the call.
I just give you my true life story.
No, we
What
need
else
people
can I
like
do
you
when I
as
do-
in the media. In this media, we have
No, but
to amplify our
I'm
voice.
very anti-bleaching. You know, I have a whole video that speaks about bleaching, and you know, I think that's it's one of the craziest things that happened to me as a young person, and I was so impressionable. So I'm using my voice. This is advocacy.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah,
but final question before we wrap up, right? Oh, we have a comment from someone.
One more comment from Dr. Aisha.
Okay, sorry, Dr. Aisha.
So Dr. Anaba was speaking about safer ways to look good and keep your skin. And she said staying out of the sun. But I think that this forum too, and Temisa, I'm also calling on you too, you know, the culture, we need to use sunscreen. Clock it. So we need to use sunscreen. So using it regularly, using it appropriately is important. And, you know, it's still taking a while to shift. But the younger generation, before even you say Jack Robinson, I use my sunscreen, you know. But it's the older generation. And like the person next to me who talked about the people in the community out there, sunscreen is expensive. And the person that is out there in the sun more than you and I is a market trader, is a policeman, is the... you know, do you understand? People out there in the sun. So we still need to be preaching this practice of use of sunscreen and sun protection and staying out of the sun between the dangerous hours. You know, the French in West Africa, have a lovely culture. You know, they go for siesta. You go to Cotonou, you go to Togo, you go to Abidjan. Between 2 and 4, they're having a siesta. Or some do 1 to 3. They're away from the sun too at that time, apart from the fact that it's good. So sunscreen. Thank you
so much. Dude, I realize a lot of men, not even men especially. If you take a
They say it's
if
women.
you take
that
a
rub
survey in this
sunscreen.
room, right? Miss is running away because he doesn't use sunscreen. Sir, do you use sunscreen? Okay.
Clocked it.
But there's a lot of people who don't even know what sunscreen is, especially men. When I talk to my friends, they're like, you know, it's this sensitization that we need to do more, right? Especially with people, because some people don't even know what sunscreen is. And I think that I have 2 ideas for, you know, the dermatologist in the room, right? How can we create a product that is so affordable but it's sunscreen? Because if you can buy, I don't want to mention the bleaching agents, right? If you can buy those ones for almost as low as 500 naira, 1,000, it should be a product that's around the same range, but it's also sun protection formula. Also, I want to ask before we finalize, a good preacher must end 3 times, you know. What is the government's stance on bleaching, especially with somebody like you that works at the highest agency, you know, for dermatologists, you know? What is the government's stance? Are there laws against bleaching? You know, is it just considered only skincare and not a harm to, like, you know, Nigerians?
No, what I can say is that are there laws against bleaching? Not specifically against bleaching, but there are laws now to control the use of cosmetics. Now, I was at the workshop in October, and just last month, one of us represented us at Abuja in the technical working committee at the meeting. The thing is that there are laws, but how do you implement them? That's the problem we have.
Just like she said, I prescribe this thing for you. You eventually now use it and then you find the color is coming up and you continue to use it. So it's actually to really educate, like we're saying, and do more of the sensitization. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have been amazing. I am done with this session now. I'm going to continue with the next one, but please continue your advocacy. Keep being stars in the space, And thank you so much, Dr. Riri. You're an amazing co-host.
Thank you, Temisa.
Okay, round of applause for my panelist and my co-host. Okay, so let's continue our conversation. Okay, please a round of applause for Dr. Faiza Saduki. And I apologize, Dr. Faiza. From your work in northern Nigeria, how does skin bleaching present differently? And what are the reasons why people bleach in the north? Is it for marriage, confidence, social mobility? Why do people bleach?
Okay, so thank you very much. Actually, as you said, bleaching in northern Nigeria is, so it's also a problem that we encounter. Bleaching in northern Nigeria is no different from bleaching elsewhere, with some just slight differences in the reason why people there bleach. So normally when you look at it, we normally have our young girls, the teenagers, like bleaching starts very early down there. Maybe the reason being that, courtship there starts early, and the sample, as you are seeing some patients and you are sampling the reason why they start this bleaching. Some places you hear that maybe they start because of they have a skin issue or because of class or whatever. But there in the north, majority of our women, they bleach because of issue of spouse. Yeah, because of men. Because I can say it's a known belief down there in the north that men, northerners, they like light-skinned women. Maybe some of my people will confess, will believe in
they
me.
Look like
Especially, they call it like Kano men, they like fair women. Yes, so that makes the young girls to start fighting. They just have to get that light color because of the attention. Yes, and if not because of that, even the women that are already married, we practice polygamy down there. So the man now wants to marry a second wife, and the lady is fair. So what can she do than to go out looking for that
an alternative?
Exactly.
But pardon me, I've never seen somebody from the north who was bleaching. And one of the things I used to say when I was younger is that, the northerners have nice skin, dark skin, no matter what condition they're experiencing. I never knew that, it was the prevailing condition there. Or
maybe you haven't been to the north a lot, or maybe you haven't interacted with the northern women. Even the men there do bleach. They just hide behind using their wife's cream. Yes, I don't know it's bleaching. I use my wife's cream. That's the reason. Because they come in at a later stage with complication, and you start asking them, what cream are you using? What? Then he will start confessing that he uses his wife's cream. But in the north, we have a lot of bleaching. The problem we are facing now is some places now have gone to injectables and other things. But down there, we are facing the issue of these creams, as in mixing steroid creams or the so-called organic, whether mixing them at home or in the market. If I can tell you, I don't want to call name, but these are our major markets. If you enter any of our markets, go to a cosmetic shop, you find the women queue, just like they are queuing in the hospital. They are queuing for this mixing of creams. There will be somebody there mixing the creams for them. Yes, you see them. Once I was there, they were mixing a cream and it was bubbling. Yes, steam was coming. It was bubbling. Yes, I was looking at it. Wow, you mean this is what you are going to use on your face? She said, yes. So we have this problem. Women at home, they will just become, what do you call themselves? Cosmeticians or aesthetic. They will start mixing creams that doesn't have label, creams that doesn't have ingredients. And that is what they will be buying and using on their skin, on their face especially.
Let me see, you're actually wrong with northerners, not... So I've seen a couple. I have a patient who came in for dermatology problems. And after that, she pitched selling her bleaching cream, her organic products.
Yes.
Really?
And she showed me a lot of before and afters. And they were all northern women. So they
I've
actually
been
do
informed
bleach.
today because I did know.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question.
Yeah.
please.
Okay. So I like that this skin bleaching campaign. It's been taken in regions. You have the southeast. You have the northerners. Everybody have their own, share their own experience. When it comes to skin bleaching. So we've heard from the northern side. So we'd like to hear from Dr. Chukwuka. In the southeast, which age groups are most affected, and what usually motivates them?
Okay, so the most affected age group is between 18 to 30 plus, right? So 30 plus can range anywhere from 32 to all the way to 39, right? Now, within that range, 20 to 24 is the highest, all right? So there was this survey done by another dermatologist, with a host of other dermatologists, right? Dr. Enechuku. So they went to 4 universities in the southeast, and they got a response from 680 something female people, female students, right? 90 something percent, 93.7, were using 2 bleaching methods at the same time, right? If you take away triple action creams that everyone uses all the time, it was now 85 point something. So it didn't really do much, right? Now, they've tried to find out, okay, what was the commonest reason for trying to bleach your skin? And like I said before, they were trying to treat something. They had dark marks from maybe a former rash or something. They applied it, they saw, oh, this looks nice, and they continued, right? The other reason was basically because, well, they were looking for a life partner. Because in that group, there were about 300 and something men that they also surveyed, okay? And those men, 85% of them said they prefer lighter-skinned women. So when you put all those into consideration, the bleaching in the southeast is insane. A lot of people, almost everybody there is bleaching, and it's maintaining my skin color and that and that and that. So it's a lot.
I'm so shocked that even in 2026 or 2025, at the time you guys did the survey, that people are not still informed about like the hazards of bleaching, right? Because the demographic you just called 18 to 30, they are exposed to social media.
Yeah.
How does social media also affect, their choices about bleaching, for example?
Okay.
Has it made it worse? Has it reduced it? No, there's so much information online, right? How does this affect the need to want to bleach?
Okay, so it's actually worsened the whole thing, right? In the past, if you think back to primary school days, right? Social media wasn't really a big deal. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're like close in age group, right? So I'm hoping so that I'm not describing my own. All right, let me use myself.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, so in my primary school days, social media was non-existent. Secondary school, university, not really much.
Okay, we're not in the same age group there.
Fantastic. Okay. So social media was still a new thing, okay? So before information would go from one end to the other, it was word of mouth. Now you can see the person's skin is light, they've bleached, and they tell you that because of their light skin, they've gotten contracts, that they're in movies, that they're in music videos, all right? And they have a lot of, if they are women, men following them. If they are men, well, fair men, most women don't like fair men, so that's a different thing altogether. But you see all those effects. And
then men like fair women.
Well, yes, in general, in quotes, yes, they like fair women.
I've heard that before. A lot of women don't like light-skinned men. So who's going to marry light-skinned men?
They don't. They actually, there's this, what I call it, tag. They say light-skinned men are untrustworthy, they are promiscuous, and, so, yeah. Oh, you're dark. That's why you're winking. Okay.
I have a light-skinned friend back there. I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Okay. Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Also, in this era where there's a lot of snapshots, filters,
Exactly.
you go on social media and you're saying, I want my skin to look like her own. No skin pores, no hyperpigmentation. That's not even possible. So I'm just adding to what you
Sure,
said,
true.
filters. And then, of course, skincare trends. This is what this person is using, so let me hop on it. And before you know it, at the end of the day, you're using 10 different creams.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just ruining your skin for no reason. So I just thought to...
Yeah.
And also not having boundary to selling of this product in social media. So people come, they advertise their products,
Yes.
they use filters, they show their skin before and after, 1 week, just 4 days, you know. So it's worsened the issue a lot.
It's so as I asked before, does NAFDAC, reach out to those people? Are they penalized for just doing it, or anybody can just wake up and have a skincare brand in their house and mix milk and sugar and soap and whatever to form, ointments and whatnot?
Well, I think even if NAFDAC has a regulation on that, maybe they're not doing enough.
Right.
Yes, they have to increase, because any other person, any woman can just decide to go into social media that she has started formulating soap, formulating creams. Actually, I was in a radio program, just a call-in program. Once a woman called that she on herself, she doesn't use a cream until it expired. Yes, that's the only cream that works for her
She's
skin.
gangster.
Yes, expired.
but it's so crazy. I feel like there's not enough sensitization of people, of the people, right? Because I think that the way you have campaigns, for example, like HIV, cancer, I think there's not enough sensitization about the damage to skin, because on social media we just say it here and there, but there's no actual campaign, and this is why things like this happen, right? As a dermatologist, are there times where you go out to speak to people, even within your community? Are there ways that you sensitize the people to let them know that this thing you are doing in the long run is going to be a problem for you guys, especially in the north, and in the north, the people are sort of like, stuck in their own ways, like, except there's somebody that they see that, on a certain pedestal that will say, okay, this is how to go. Are there people in the north who are heralding this, campaign that, you can't be bleaching because of this and that?
Yes, I think we are doing a lot. The National Association is doing a lot. Then at the level of the states, we are also doing a lot. But it's just that we cannot do it alone. Yes, we keep on doing it to those around us, to our patients, to students. We go to schools, we go to radio, you understand, all those things. But yet, we still cannot do it alone.
And another problem is stigma. I had a patient who came in with her husband to see me. She was obviously bleaching with dark knuckles and all that. And her husband insisted on, sitting down during the consultation. And he said... So she gave me the history and everything, and I was like, okay, let's take it back. First of all, you need to stop bleaching. And as soon as I said that word, she just went into defensive, started, became very aggressive and shouting, she's not bleaching, I'm not bleaching. When my husband met me, I was dark or something. I don't know, she was just saying a lot. And I told the husband, can you just excuse us, please? Can you just leave the room so that I can talk to her one-on-one? Yeah, and as the husband left, I told her, but you're bleaching now. She says, I know now, but how would this say in front of my husband? What do you mean by saying it in front of my husband? I've been telling him forever that we're light-skinned in our family. I said, okay, no problem. But so she had, just like Dr. Altraide and Dr. Anaba have been saying since, when you start to bleach, you start to have skin diseases, that manifest in different ways. You're not even sure what's going on. I told her this thing is because your skin bleaching, and once you stop it, your healthy skin is going to come back and you're going to be fine. So that was how we ended. And when the husband came back, we just continued like nothing happened. And he was curious, what did you tell her? She's calmer
That she
now.
calm
Say,
down.
sir, please don't worry.
This is
She's going to be
sisterhood.
okay. So stigmatization is...
Yeah, I think that's very important. And thank you for looking out for a sister. But for the men, though, I'm going to ask you, Dr. Roberts, right?
Yeah.
Men bleach too.
Yes.
Why is this it's almost like a woman's issue? When they talk about bleaching, they push it to women as if, oh, not only women, they buy cream. But maybe rubbing some triple action creams here and there.
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Because I did,
You told us, yeah.
But why is it? So how can we add men to this conversation? How can we, also allow men push this narrative as well? Because it's like only women are, even when we see the campaigns, like only women are trying to tell other women to stop bleaching. How can men be part of it? And how can we also tag the men as part of the bleaching community?
Okay, so there's good news and there's a bad news to this attempt, okay? So I'll start with the bad. The bad is the men will never be centered or part of the whole campaign because cosmetic care has been historically a woman thing, all right? So bringing men into it is going to be a very long time before that's part of it. In the early 2000s, there was this type of man called a metrosexual. So what that meant was the guy would pamper himself, take care of his skin, nails, fashion, right? So it's still new. It's just 26 years into it. Men bleach. I have seen men who bleach. I've seen men who have come to the clinic. They've looked at my skin and said, I want my skin to be like yours. And I'm like, my mom has to give birth to you. And then the genetic modification that happened during the formation of my fetus has to happen for you. If not, you'll be dark like the rest of my brothers. All right? Yeah. So I'm the only one fair in my house, okay? Because my maternal grandma and my paternal grandfather are fair. Every other person is dark, okay? So men bleach, and when you point it out to them, they're a bit honest about it compared to the women. So I'll tell a guy, you're bleaching. He'll be like, Doc, I just want fine small. I'll say, okay, there's a better way to do this, but stop bleaching, please. All right? They're a lot more upfront about it.
Does bleaching make men finer?
Actually, no. No, it doesn't.
But remember you said fair men, women don't like fair men. So why are some men bleaching to be fair?
For these men, it's like, when they've insulted you in your life, too black, too war. At least if you can lighten up a bit. Let's just, so you can at least just be in the middle. Be brown caramel. Yeah.
Well, bleaching doesn't make anyone fine. I have this personal hypothesis. I feel like when God was creating you and gave you features like the shape of the nose, the mouth, everything, he gave you a skin tone to go along with it. If you modify that skin tone, everything just looks whack. That's how I see it. Like, if you want to try an example now, show a picture of yourself fair, modified, all right, by the internet, and your normal picture. Show someone your picture fair first that has never seen you before. The person will be like, then you show them your dark picture. They'll be like, yeah. It's weird. I don't have a name for that phenomenon, right? But
Doc, it's not always the case. So you see some people's picture where you say, I saw you before. I'm anti-bleaching, but like some people were not really, So, yeah, but continue.
Yeah, so I don't know what to say to that part.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, true. But men bleach, in my experience, they're much more upfront about it than the women. And the moment they have the side effect from bleaching, they usually stop. The women keep going to try to find a solution to it, and it gets worse. Yeah, so that has been my experience with it. Yeah.
Okay. So, it's now trending. Apart from men and women bleaching, people are now including children into it, teenagers. Babies.
Yep.
I have a patient who told me that she's fair and her husband is fair. Why is her child black? So she puts steroid cream into
Baby lotion.
so that
Yes.
the child will be fair.
Yeah.
So, if we could, sorry?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of people do it actually. Yes, they want their children to be light skinned. Say, can't you see how the child is glowing? Don't
Catch
you like
them
it?
young.
Yeah?
And
Catch them
before
young.
they're teenagers, they'll be fully light skinned.
Yeah, they will be even referring that I gave birth to him fair. So why is she turning black now? Doctor, do something.
Forgotten themselves. If we could teach teenagers one skincare rule, what should it be? Question is for you.
Exactly. So what we always tell the younger ones that the more you leave your skin, the less you disturb your skin, the better. So all this skincare routine that you have to use like 5, 6 things, the cleanser, the toner, the wiper, the concealer, all at the same time. So that's disturbing your skin too much.
Wait,
Yes.
Doc,
That is it. You find a lady that she has a wash, a cleanser, a
have
toner.
now.
Oh, you do have, right?
is anything wrong with that?
How many hours do you take, Robin?
No, we
all
have
those things.
the face wash, the toner, the moisturizer,
Well,
the sunscreen.
I have this, my professor, that normally when he sees a young girl bleaching, he normally asks her, do you know which cream your mother is using? So go back and use your mother's cream. That would be better.
Doc, I have to be sure that I'm not making a mistake, right? But these are healthy products, so the ones I'm using. But there's steps now.
Well, till we see. We don't know.
Okay, I'll take a picture and send to you. I'll take a picture and send to all of you.
And there's nothing wrong with
So-
using, skincare regimen daily. It's just, what are you using it for? What are you treating?
Yes.
You know, I'm on
Is it
camera now
acne?
to shine.
Is it to shine? Don't go
So
overdo.
the most important thing is, as it has been said, yes, wash your skin because of the dirt, the dust we used to have regularly. Then hydrate and moisturize. Then the next thing is protection from the sun, because we do have the sun. The sun is there. Down there, north, we have a very hot weather there. So you should find a way to protect from the sun. If sunscreens and blocks are expensive, we normally have this covering down in the north that we use. It's called niqab. So it's a very good practice. We normally advise them, if you can just use niqab on your face, that's good.
What is niqab?
Well, it's a kind of clothing. Face cover is covered with just your eyes.
Oh, like the
Outside.
hijab?
Yes, but it's just meant to cover the
Oh,
face.
okay.
So and normally it's black.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a very good protection for the sun if you are going under the sun. That's if you cannot buy the sunscreen or use the umbrella or the wide brim hat, which the younger ones are using now.
But
That's
a little
brilliant.
sun is not bad, though. It just depends on the time you go out. Sometimes we need some sun.
We used to go up to 50 degrees.
Wow.
Yes,
That's a lot.
we do.
Okay, so I'm going to ask both of you this question. What is the first sign that you should stop a product immediately? What is the first sign that you should stop a particular product immediately?
That's what's the
Yeah.
first sign following skin bleaching.
Yes, as somebody,
Maybe not, just any
says,
products.
even before you start, and this advert is saying you see result in 4 days, you shouldn't even start. Talk less of stopping. Yes, and the moment you start a product and you notice that it's changing your color, or is giving you discomfort, or it has started giving you some rashes, itching, I think you should stop. Yes.
Okay, so let me
Doc.
add.
Okay.
About the same question, yeah.
Oh, okay. The thing she said about results in 4 days, perfect. Like anything you see with that thing, then just leave it alone. Then if you apply something, you step outside and you have a skin reaction, itching, burning sensation, that's a sign to stop. In fact, if you apply and you don't go outside and you start having a tingling or something like that, you need to stop. Most products will tell you apply to a hidden area and check for sensitivity. The products that have sense. The ones that don't will just apply, use, and then the problems will start. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Doc?
Yes, I wanted to ask something. This is not on the script, but so when, of course, you discover somebody is doing skin bleaching, do you ask the person to stop abruptly? Or, because when they stop abruptly, there's going to be rebound hyperpigmentation. Or you taper? Or what would you advise?
Okay. So when I discover someone is bleaching, the usual protocol I do with them is I tell them, you're bleaching. So after we go through the back and forth, like I'm not, I am, I'm not, once they agree, the next thing I tell them is, these are the possible side effects. I find photos and I show them, this is what will happen, this is what will happen, this cannot be reversed, this may be reversible. After that, I tell them, when you stop, you're going to get darker. You are going to get dark to the point that if you come for your next appointment, I may not recognize you. And that's happened to me a couple of times, right? When the person accepts that, I say, okay, now here's the hardest part. Stop. Usually it has worked for me. It has worked. I just tell them stop abruptly. The problem is when the person stops abruptly and it's not really the hyperpigmentation, they start having steroid acne on top. That is when the case is just problematic. But I found out that when I explain to them, this is what you might possibly get from stopping, they go along with it. At that point, I let my phone line stay open so that they can just call me anytime. Doctor, this is getting worse. Doctor, you told me you. I allowed that for the first 3 weeks. Once things start normalizing, I'm like, hey, boundaries. Okay, call me if there's a serious problem, not because of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very controversial. Some doctors say, of course, supervised by a dermatologist, you taper, not with hydroquinone or anything harmful.
Yeah.
But you can taper with maybe alpha-arbutin or
Yeah.
azelaic acid. That is what some doctors say.
Yeah.
And some say stop abruptly. Because if you say stop abruptly, from my experience, you usually run away.
Yeah.
That patient doesn't come back.
Yeah.
If they stop and 2 weeks later they are black, they are not.
True.
They go to see the esthetician. So that is what some people practice. But just thought to comment on that.
Sure.
Okay, we're about to wrap up this session and we're going to throw questions to the audience, but this is also not in the script. But what do you guys think about the IV line that they put, for skincare? Do you think that's healthy?
Well, that's very unhealthy, and that's actually
But there are
should be
a lot of
condemned.
big clinics who thrive on that. A lot of big clinics who, especially on the island. Yeah.
I have a scenario I was discussing with my colleagues, I think yesterday. I was in Abuja, the National Hospital. Yeah, we had these young ladies. They brought her emergency. Yes, they brought her as an emergency. At the end, she was taken to the ICU because of air emboli. She had an emboli from certain IV line. She was taken to ICU. Everything was done, but I think later we lost the lady. So the friend was confessing that they were doing this bleaching practice, the IV bleaching practice, because they are university girls, and that is what is the color that is keeping them going. Yeah, so they normally goes to a nurse or a shop for the IV access, but this time around, they don't have maybe the funds or the money or the time to go there, so they decide to look for the IV access themselves. And that is how it all happens. Yes, so that's literally a very bad practice. Yes, and it should be condemned. This was some years back, around 2016, 2015 or so. Yes, but it was there in Abuja. But as I told you earlier, in down Kano, the north, we are still battling with the combination creams. Yes, the injectables is not much of a problem to us.
Okay, so there's this term, an elderly female friend of mine says, she says, because Enugu is where I'm based in, she says Enugu is a civil servant state, all right? Meaning that there's not a lot of money there. So if you're trying to do injectables in Enugu, it means you're doing it to a very select clientele of people. So it's largely not available openly, but I'm sure secretly there's a lot of that, yeah. So generally, IV injections to get fair, the problem is there's been no studies out there to say that it's safe enough to do. So people are just being cowboys with this thing here. And they say they got fair and they are better and nothing happened. But then maybe 10 years down the line, nobody will even know about the problems that they are getting from that. Yeah.
So we'll just close by just asking, what does healthy skin truly mean to you?
Okay. So when we're talking about healthy skin, I think of a skin that is moisturized, supple, soft to its own texture, all right? Not necessarily without blemish, because your blemish can be from anything. Maybe an old injury, an insect bite, no problem. But with as much as possible, not a lot of variation in colors. So that's what a healthy skin is to me. Moisturized, not dry. If you scratch it, you don't see white on it. And that's it. Yeah.
Complexion.
Yes.
So I can say a healthy skin is a skin that does its functions. Yeah, it has not been altered with in any form or any manner. So that's a healthy skin.
Dr. Pfizer, you strike me like the skin police. You're very... like you read the skin matter very well. Okay, but thank you both for, sharing your knowledge about skincare and what a healthy skin should be. Questions for the audience? Anybody has a question? Okay, there's two people. So can you pass the mic?
I have a few comments to make. I want to start from bottom up to first tell everybody that bleaching is an addiction. It's an addiction so much so that people that bleach find it hard to stop using these products because of the side effects that will rapidly occur. Go back to their previous color of let me not say hyperpigmentation, dark skin color. And the comments from everybody, hey, wetin happen? No money. She dey suffer, etc., etc. And that is why some of us, when we want to treat this addiction, we don't want to go cold turkey. We don't want to say stop abruptly. We kind of want to tail it off so that the person sticks with the program. For one, some people might say, okay, you're using a bleaching cream and soap. I'll take off the cream, add a sunscreen, leave you with the soap for a while. When you get used to the habit of using sunscreen with a regular moisturizer, I can take off the soap. Different people do the treatment or stoppage of skin bleaching in different ways. Then steps in skin care. Like Temison said, there's no problem using a cleanser, a toner, moisturizer, and a sunscreen. She rightly said, what are you using it for? But the problem is those that add snail mucin, vitamin C serum, niacinamide, retinoids in one skincare. What exactly are you treating? And because these things are all over social media, our teenagers, young adults feel that they need to do all of these things so that, they will have the glowing skin alongside with the adults. We find them in our clinics asking us, when they come with their mothers, what can I do? Can I use snail mucin, vitamin C serum? They are all aware of these things. So the multiple-stepped process for no reason at all is what we try to avoid. Rather, if you have a skin problem, see your dermatologist. She will curate a skincare process for you. Concerning skin bleaching amongst age groups, as we've gone from preteens to teenagers to young adults, let's remind everybody that people are bleaching fetuses now. They are taking oral bleaching tablets to make sure that baby, they have toned themselves and they married light skin. And they are scared that the baby will be black. So they start bleaching their fetuses. In fact, WHO and NAFDAC in West Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana are one of the two places that practice these things. And they've come up with advice and caution. So say this is a no-no. So it's not only babies now, fetuses are being bleached. The change we need to make, we have talked ourselves hoarse, going to marketplaces and all of that. What about our schools and our communities? The school that will put that fair child in front of the line to do the recital, that will put that fair child on the billboard, that will put that fair child to give the flower to the visiting special person that came to the school. All these things we do unknowingly. Or if you have children and your boy is fair, your girl is dark. Hey, why the boy come fair? The girl supposed fair. because that is what beauty is known in Nigeria. Just these few points to add on to the panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'm actually alarmed. I came here as a media person, but I'm learning a whole lot, and I'm just forced to talk and ask these questions. One thing that is alarming me is the fact that social media is a big problem. And while we were having this conversation, what was playing in my head is seeing all these people mixing soaps on social media. Those soap mixing is a whole lot. So my question is direct. What is the Association of the Dermatologists in Nigeria doing to curb those things? Honestly, if that cannot be curbed, we might just be doing a lot of conferences and there's no action. And what is as Temisan asked, the NAFDAC can be doing, but what are they doing to curb those things? If you see people mixing soap on social media, what are they doing to reach out to that person and say, you have to stop this thing. If you don't stop it, this is what is going to happen. These are deliberate steps that should happen. So what are we doing about those things practically to help the younger generations? Thank you.
Well, I actually don't know exactly how to answer him because somebody in social media doing his thing, I think we are not the government or the police that will go and arrest him. So all we do is to advise. Yes, we advise within our limit, within our jurisdiction, you know. So, and also still the government, the NAFDAC, the National Association are still doing the campaign. So the media also should help us. While those people are advertising their products, then we are also in the media telling them to please stop.
I mean, I would think that the government would force I would think that the association will force the hand of the government to take action. You know, that's the reason why there's an association, right? If there's a group of you going to the government to say, how can we move on this? How can we get the law enforcement to move on these people?
Yeah, I think we cannot force the government, but we keep on telling the government, we keep on showing them, this is the implication, this is what we are getting to.
I mean, not necessarily force the government literally, but like, you know, force them to move. Yeah.
Okay, there's a way you can keep talking about a situation and it's just so ingrained that you can't do anything about it. Let me give you an example. I was called to see somebody in a clinic, in a hospital, and as I sat down waiting for the patient, my eye caught a calendar on the side. So it was a very light-skinned woman, digitally altered so that there are no blemishes. And at the bottom was the name of the cream. I'm not going to say the name of the company, right? It was a quadruple action cream. We're talking triple action. This one's quadruple, all right? And then it says it can clear acne, fungal diseases, dermatitis, and 3 other diseases I don't remember. So the first thing I did was I took the calendar, crumpled it, and copied it into the dustbin, right? Then I went to the management and I told them, listen, your hospital, this thing is in all your consulting clinics. If people come in there to see a doctor, they see this calendar, they see this cream, they see the model, and they go, oh, okay, this is nice. And they go out and buy it. Okay, so if things have gotten to a point, a pharmaceutical company can create a quadruple action cream and say, use it to have beautiful skin on the calendar and says that it treats acne, fungal diseases, this and this and that. You see, our work is cut out for us as an association of dermatologists, right?
So I just want to comment on what Nigerian Association of Dermatologists has done with the government. We've worked with NAFDAC to step into this space. We've gone to the National Assembly to step into this space. That's what we can do. We are not police. I'm aware that 2 or 3 years ago on social media, somebody had removed somebody's entire skin and NAFDAC went into a shop to seize everything in there. But these are just sporadic things. It's the government who needs to make the laws, enforce the laws, and do what they are meant to do.
Thank you so much.
Prof, let me also add to that. Just one, it's very important. So how about getting consumers, like when there are complications, as doctors, encourage them to go on social media and talk about their
The
complications so
shame.
that people don't use
Shame.
these things. Shame, yes, but
Because me, I will not do it. So. Anyway, guys, I want to say a big thank you to all the panelists for sharing your knowledge, for leading this conversation. We're not shaming, we're just educating. We're not saying no to beauty, we're saying yes to healthier practices and, better skincare choices. And all of us will shine and glow together in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming. And that is a wrap.